Pleasant good afternoon to you, my citizen of Guyana, brothers and sisters. Today I bring to you the message that you might be waiting for a long, long time. You must know the truth of the history of your country, where it begins and how it begins. I am going to take you from the 1960s, where Guyana was once a British country before 1966. But before it was independent, the late leader Chetty Jagan and Burnham was running against to rule this country, to take it from the British. I want you to understand what happened. The two of them was one and the party split. Burnham had one, Chetty had one, and racism begins. But what sparked the problem is two major things. Imperialism, which is capitalism, communism, and that is what I call dictatorism, where the state governed the nation, while capitalism gives you a chance to extend to get rich or stay poor. It have no mercy if you could make money off of the poor all the time. So Chetty Jagan and Burnham had a plan, and there is where it all begins. No man wanted to share equal together, to work together to save Guyana. So they were split by foreign force. Some said the CIA, some said the British. But personally, whatever created the split caused mayhem in Georgetown, Guyana in the late 60s. 2 weeks before the fire and the burning and the looting in Georgetown and elsewhere, Queen Elizabeth's sister came for a visit, Princess Margaret, and when she left the country, the fire began on one Friday. Blacks stormed the markets and the street, attacked Indian citizens who's Guyanese like yourself, beating them, tearing the women clothes down, raping them on the street. And all of this was recorded by papers called the Evening Post and the Argosy. And the Graphic, not forgetting the Mirror newspaper called The Sun, was very busy taking pictures. It was a dreadful time for Indian and blacks to see what was happening. Decent Indian and decent blacks stand panicking because they do not know who will be next. Neighbors turn against neighbors because they don't know what will happen. But all that Indians see in large number was blacks during the attack, until Indians started to fight back and hurt their innocent friends and neighbors. It was a whole disgrace. Our politician didn't get hurt. It is you and the people and I get hurt. Some lost their life. In Mackenzie, the mining area where Sam Hines came from, little young Indian girl was torn to pieces in half. Some had bottle pushed up into the virginity. The Evening Post front page, the Argosy front page, the Graphic, several pages with it. I saw these things from Indians in Queens who showed me. I tried to get copies, they refused. I offered to buy it, they refused. They spoke with tears in their eyes because of what happened. I asked you, let's work together and put an end to this nonsense. The PNC ruled Guyana for a number of years because of the coalition between Peter Degas with the United Force. Jagan had 22 seats. Burnham had 18, which is PNC, and the United Force had 7. The coalition government swept this country together and put the PNC in power. And let me make it clear, it was Hindus who crossed the floor and formed the PNC coalition. 5 or 7 of them. Find out your history. Bandits and all was involved. So don't cost the prodigy man that he caused it. He saved your Indian life. Because communism was an ugly thing to America to hear happening in their backyard. Chile, people was killed for it. Guatemala, Mexico, and many more. Cuba had an invasion of the Bay of Pigs. Our turn was to be next because the late Chetty Jagan says he will not change from communism. He will continue. And therefore, America would not tolerate that, not Britain. My fellow brothers and sisters, I will give you more of this with your historian, your politician who are lying because they want a job and to make a living. And your black historian, because he black, he put what he want black people to know. And a East Indian historian, he write as far as the rum bottle carrying. So you tell them I have no apology for them. They are the one you should look upon and spit on their grave. Those are the one who created division. Those are the one who lied to you. I, George Carra, am telling you here today, when I see Indian and blacks fight each other as a little boy, tears come to my eyes. But I grew up with a black woman, but I am a mixed race. I heard Indians spoke about black neighbors. You believe that they were mothers to them, fathers to them, sisters and brothers to them. I hear blacks spoke of Indian mothers and fathers. You think they were the same to them. But these corrupt Highlanders that came from the Caribbean, that was paid money to kill innocent Indian, to spark problem, to make Indian feel black people bad. You Guyanese blacks get a raw deal and a bad name for that fire. You are not the one. Few politicians, yes, but it was Highlanders that was hired and bring into this country as gold seekers and coal mine seekers that was paid by agency who caused the fire and the killing. Mackenzie and any home was taken away from Indian people. Ask Sam Hines, he may know if he born and grew there. Ask the PNC farmer leader. He will tell you too, Mr. Carbin. He must remember. Why are they hiding these things? And ask Ram Karan in the PPP and many PPP members over Barjaglio, farmer leader. He was paid by taxpayer money to educate him in Russia, like plenty of them. Why none of the Jagan family was hurt when Burnham was in power? You ever ask yourself that question? How they were working together. Think, especially when Burnham was the godfather of Jeddy Jagan Jr. Isn't that something for you to look at? Stop being a fool. Stop being ignorant. Unite and save Guyana. Your enemy lies in the parliament. They are all your enemy. None of them is for you. And don't worry with the military. We have a right to have military. They are not treating right. They need to be giving house lot, cars, and benefit the police department, civil servant. And those are the men and women who hold this country 24/7, 365 days a year, 366 on the leap year. While your politician eating and drinking steak and using mashed potato and traveling to foreign country, and you can't get a chance because we allow it. My brothers and sisters, elect young leaders with vision and inspiration. Elect people who are not racial, who can see eye to eye. Look, in America, we got Barack Obama, half white, half black. Unity in the country. We are going to be electing a mayor, if he's not elected already. His wife is black and he is white. What a wonderful thing. The world is looking for changes. Stop this fighting. Stop this killing against each other. Put your agenda ahead. Your wife, your children, and the future must be a part of this country. Put an end to the end the PPP nonsense. The PNC who don't have a party to go to, one time their PNC reform, now they come up new, and they're all the same thing. It's like a wolf pulling a sheep mask over his face. Join hands with Correa today and says, enough is enough, and long live Guyana and freedom in the next election. Get rid of all of them.